shakeup here.
Yeah, especially Doobie on St. Ambrose, just such a dangerous player, very explosive.
Oh yeah.
You'll always see him top of the leaderboard. Um, Obviously, they have a great supporting cast. Brapton, great leader as their captain. I've had a lot of experience with those two. But yeah, we're in for a really good one tonight.
Oh, absolutely. And let's see what other information we can pull about these teams. We got quotes. I love quotes.
Ooh, we got quotes.
Oh, we don't have quotes. I'm sorry, folks. You know, we're starting it out. It's going to be kind of a little rough around the edges, but in that case, let's move on to our player head-to-head. Let's see who we've got. Never mind. Never mind. But
All
with
right.
that being said, let's jump ahead. Let's take a look at the map bands. Let's see who we've got going on. You know what? How about I just tell you? I'm gonna crash out. We have three maps. We've got Chalet, Club, and Border. So this is going to be a full-blown BO3. So we will see all of these teams, or these two teams, fighting it out until the very end. So, Meef, I wanted to ask you, what are you feeling and what are you thinking? We know Akron's reputation. We know they are pretty much the undisputed top dogs. But from what I can see, the roster's changed. Do you think that that could be enough to allow SAU to pull through? Or do you think Akron will still dominate regardless? You know, that kind of institutional esports reputation. What are your thoughts here?
Absolutely. I mean, Akron, just they're such a storied program, but also SAU coming off that national championship in 2023. I don't think we could ever count them out, especially the duo of Doobie and Brap. They're quite a powerful team just in that regard.
No, absolutely. I mean, SAU, they've got some star players on their team. They can absolutely pull out their punches. But again, you know, it's kind of that institutional weight, but it's really hard to say. You know, I don't have a lot of exposure with how Akron handles roster changes. I mean, for this matchup, it's kind of a big sign of what's to come. You know, if Akron Gold, you know, is able to punch as usual like they did before, then yeah, they're going to be pretty much another era of undisputed kings. But if they don't gracefully handle transitions, you know, graduations and whatnot, we could see a shuffle that hasn't really been possible for a while. I mean, Akron Gold's been back-to-back-to-back champions, and if that opening is available, if that gap is there, oh, this is going to be a spicy season, because even the top three is contested. That'll be worth looking into. So we'll see what will be the ongoing narrative going forward as we get into this first matchup of Chalet.
Obviously, we're going into Chalet here. Very, very highly played map from SAU. Just obviously from my expertise there, being close with a lot of the SAU roster, I've seen quite a bit of their games. Great play here from Chalet. Really couldn't ask for much more on Chalet. And here we're going to have our first bans.
Yeah, Mira and Ace. We've been seeing Mira and Ace eliminated pretty much 24/7. That is a constant ban favorite, as well as Cade and Thermite. So I'm not too surprised. I mean, we're so early in the season, and everyone is itching to see what the landscape is going to be with graduations, roster changes. Everyone wants to get an idea of what to expect. So you're going to see everything be really basic and pretty much standard, because no one wants to give away too much information. I mean, even the composition shows it too. We're seeing default on default, right? The only thing that's a little bit of a deviation, starting out in basement instead of, you know, first floor, which is kind of the typical rotation, first floor, second floor, basement. So we're kind of going in the opposite direction. But otherwise, I mean, all the sites in Chalet are generally pretty strong. Basement's a bit of weaker side, but that's really about it.
Absolutely. Obviously, that second floor of Chalet is a very, very difficult position to penetrate. Basement not too hard. It kind of just depends on the setup. Eliminating that thermite does get a big hard breach out of the way. And we're going to get this round started right away. Cypher, obviously, Flipping to windows, checking cams. He gets a pick right away. Wow. Huge shot from Cypher.
Wow. I mean, clean shot, too. I'm going to have to give props. I was kind of running my mouth starting this out, and he's putting out one heck of a show. That's a great counter spawn peak pick, and minimal damage, too. That's a great start for SAU, and a little bit of a blow for UA Gold. But keep in mind, not too much active utility was lost. Actually, really nothing other than, you could say, impacts. You still have 2 nitros available, so not really a big loss. Kind of a throwaway that UA Gold can afford. But this is kind of a smaller map. You want to try to keep your numbers, especially on basement. Once you get cellar wall, once you get that main garage wall, things can start to really spiral out of control. Especially if you get displaced and you can't really cover all of your gaps. Because keep in mind, UA Gold doesn't really have an intel operator. They don't have anything to actually see where they need to cover down. So even from a Cam's perspective, you know, Warrior's not going to really be able to do much. It's been bodies, and that's another one dropped. That's going to be by Doobie this time around.
Huge pick there for Doobie just through that wall. Obviously, the one was reinforced, so kind of a cheeky little pre-fire there. But this fun Momo King shield is going to really come into play here because of Diffuser right here. Now they do know where the bomb sites is, so probably going to get a little bit aggressive now. Going to bait the Nitro a little bit, just kind of show him what he's got. Bandit getting targeted by Demos as well.
That's so, kind of what makes this scary. You're looking at a Cypher, or you're looking at Demos, you're looking at Capital. This is so much oppressive capability, especially with, like you said, Fun, Momo King, also on that Monty. Everyone's pretty much boxed into a hard corner here. You got displacement, you got pings. I mean, there's no comfort, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, as we just saw. Brapton taking Crimson's down, and right now, UA Gold's getting swept. It's only Tango and Void, the last 2 remaining to try to make the most out of this situation. Now, keep in mind, this is fully one-fronted, so they do have a chance to fight back here, but it's really going to come down to this garage control. But Tango's getting fired out. You got Monty going for the plant. The peek goes poorly as Tango also goes down. It's just going to be Void. The Nitro unsuccessful. 40 seconds on the clock. Has to push up. Vertical down. Pressure's everywhere. Can Void even find an opening pick? Or SAU start this off with a blistering, flawless round? So far, it's looking like it. As Void just cannot even get the space to enter connector. And that pre-fire settles the deal. Flawless round.
Doobie, so well at holding these tight angles. He's obviously going to talk a little trash there, but a flawless round right out of the gate from the Bees. Great just overall
here you got displacement,
synergy,
you got pings.
Chemistry. There we go, as we see that pick from Brap early. And then just this 5v1, just such a hard position to play in, especially with the diffuser down. Not a lot of time. Doobie seals the round.
Yeah. I mean, they great plays, honestly, especially with the initial clearing. But I really think this is just from UA Gold really overexposing themselves and not having that much of a fallback plan. Because considering everything was one-fronted, from main, connector, vertical, there was a lot of play space. West main was completely unaccounted for. That was a navigation point, because if you want to play aggressive like that, that's totally fine. You got a pressure point to take advantage of. But they didn't, and they put themselves in these tight corners that they can't escape. SAU's composition is a nightmare against that situation. You've got Capital to burn off Clash, to burn off that bookshelf position. You really don't have any of the sorely needed maneuverability in order to contest that. This is where UA Gold kind of has to find their identity on defense and find it fast. Because if it's holding hard counters, SAU's composition will tear that up every time. And again, we're seeing just that. Doobie running Grim. Holding those corners, you're going to get pre-fired. So this is kind of a risk assessment that UA Gold has to make. Especially with no pick. You know what I mean? It's a rough start. But there's always room to see them push it forward.
100%, especially last round. Cypher getting that very early pick. Really gave him the boost there to obviously push into that basement and take as much space as possible. Now we're going to be seeing Doobie and Brap working together here. Brap's going to throw the cam in, try and get a little bit of a visual. Momoking already in the building. Maybe spots someone at the top of the stairs right there. He does, and he's going to get picked off. Blablat does get his trade, but that is a big blow for the Bees, and it looks like they're going to maybe move over to the other side of the building here, try and make a better entry point.
On the one hand, it's big that they lost the Solarium player. Oh, great run out coming in from Warrior. Perfectly timed. That's what I'm talking about finding those opportunities to, you know, put the fight back on the flank. SAU, they leave positions completely open. They left it open West Main. They did it again here by Boiler. And UA Gold this time took it. Now going to be 2-1 for picks, and UA Gold now coming out on top. But there's still the problem of there's no one actively holding that stairs walk up. That is an opportunity available at SAU, and the aggression's finally starting to kick back for UA Gold as Cypher will be able to take another, but a pick goes out in turn. That's going to be Void taking Brappin. He's going to be putting it to a 2v3. SAU still trailing behind on one pick, but they do have that Solarium access, and that's typically a harder to account for in fight against position. Now, if SAU can hold this, push past bathroom and bedroom, that's where the real plays make. That's where this gets deadly. But with only 2 players remaining, it's going to be risky. It's going to be high stakes. If even one goes down, it's over. And there it is. The 1-for-1, but Cypher's all alone. Going to have to pull a 4K here to try to save this. Flash goes out, but Warden's still up on the board. Going to be able to block that. Goes for the swing, but can't connect on a piano. UA Gold now going to secure their own first round. Not a flawless, but still good.
Really good round there from Akron. Obviously, some in the long run. Get a little bit of a visual. Momoking already in the building. Maybe spots someone at the top of the stairs right there.
Yeah, I mean, I really do like that jump from Arv, though. That was so good. I mean, yeah, sure, it was a 1-for-1, but you denied real pressure. Because if they had that Solarium position that early on, it was going to be a collapse. That was honestly what I was worried about, is SAU taking that 5-for-5 or even 5-for-4. But that 1-for-1 trade from Arv, it took out a shield, which would have been a huge displacer to solidify Solarium and even push into bathroom and beyond. Took that player out and delayed and gave crucial time to adjust. If you're going to go for bold plays like that, that's the way to do it. And clearly that was really what won in that round, if you ask me. But now, going forward, we're finally going to get to see some action on the first floor. We've seen some avoidance on it, and I do wonder what UA Gold's familiarity with it is. Because going for first round last, not the most typical thing or map rotation style that you would see on Chalet. So I do wonder if maybe they haven't invested fully into first floor. I do wonder, I would love to ask why that is, why they went for it last.
Yeah, we could kind of take a guess. Obviously, SAU being such a good team that they are, obviously going to make those adjustments mid-game. Really try to maximize the potential on each of these rounds to try and get as many picks as possible. Really just trying to hold down angles like this. This is a really good cam there from Fun Momoking. Getting that right in the rafters to kind of check those stairs. Spots one there, spots the footholes right there. Really just trying to maximize all of the angles they can see here. Void's still just sitting here on stairs, not aware of the camera right there. And Brap maybe cooking a nade here.
Oh, they're going to gank
a flash
hard.
rather.
Yeah. Yep, Flash is coming out. They're going to be going for this hard push because they know he's in the corner. And yep, there's the Yin Condelis. Tries to repel, but Arv is going to catch that. Takes another
one.
It's not enough to just clear that corner. You need to be ready for stuff like that. Either that or UA Gold just got away with one of the most criminal manipulations ever. Pretty much a mastercraft of gaslighting, right? You know, you got one sitting in that corner, giving the idea of, hey, this is a freebie. There's someone sitting there, unprotected. And then you got one sneaking up into bathroom once they go for that push, and then you just snap on it. I do wonder if maybe they knew, or perhaps that was just really good timing for UA Gold. But either way, for SAU, you got to cross your P's. You got to ensure that you're not going to run into exactly those kind of scenarios. You know, you're not going to always get freebies where a defender's all alone. In fact, in higher level, you shouldn't expect it. But SAU will make a little bit of a comeback out of that initial kickback will take Crimson's down. That's one out of the picture. Still 4 more to go with a player disadvantage, but the clock is ticking so low, and they've made very little progress on vertical. They've been mostly outside. If they can salvage this, it's going to be tough with such a time crunch. But taking down Arv certainly helps sweeten the deal here.
Yeah, Arv's going to get knocked here. Jokovi's going to go off a little bit, so they're going to kind of get a little bit of intel here, but with 13 seconds left, this clock is just ticking down on them. Yeah, they're just going to try and run in here fast as possible. Brap with another pick. Blah is going to get traded, though. 2v3 here. SAU's dropping the diffuser, but yeah, they're just going to get traded out. Doobie and Brap both going down right towards the end of the round here. Another kind of slow, almost masterclass of a round from Akron right there. Really just good positional awareness there, especially with that 2K from Arv coming in early in that round on those stairs.
And so I do, and of course there's the Monty ban. I can't blame UA Gold, because when they went basement and there was a Monty, they were seriously stuttered when putting up with that. Though the Valkyrie ban, I really don't think Valkyrie was that threatening to SAU. Honestly, it just kind of seemed like they weren't, you know, putting in the proper drone work. Like, the positioning in Solarium was brilliant, but if you're going to invest that much time clearing someone that's just hunkering down like that, who seemingly doesn't know that the enemy is prepping an attack like that, you have to, you know, do your due diligence. You need to make sure that you're not going to get jumped from bathroom or bedroom, because just as much as you think they don't know you're there, you might not even know that they saw the drone and just chose not to shoot it. It could be a really good bait and switch. Hard to say for sure. I do wonder where that can be. I think it was just more timing and chance, if anything else. But regardless, you still have to account for that. You can't just leave that as an unknown when trying to secure a freebie, because that's how you get the opposite, which is the enemy getting 2 freebies on you, which is exactly what happened. And they invested so much time in it too. There should have been drone work to clear that. Where was it? What happened? But moving on into this round, we're going to see UA Gold opt for first floor again, this time bar and gaming. Doesn't look like SU is going to bring any kind of force plant composition, but it does seem like we'll see a setup to clear this library from Font Momo King. Now, I hope that there's better luck on their side, or perhaps not, as we'll see Doobie already getting taken down, settling at 3-3. Still, Capital is on the board for that corner library cleared, but if they're going to go for something like that, it's got to be faster. Wrong bolts. Oh, okay, that's a big utility loss.
Yeah, Fun Momo King. Not kind of not thinking with his util, but Blah does know for certain that there is someone in that window. Or looks like he's moving through now, kind of just hunkering down top of the stairs there. But again, kind of a very slow, methodical playstyle here from Akron, really just trying to establish their angles and really just hold down these spots that they really don't want to give up here.
Well, I mean, when you consider
come around.
When you consider how slow SAU has been at this point, can you really blame them? There's no need to get active here. SAU has slowed down intensely. And they're kind of focusing on trying to isolate defenders one at a time, but they're kind of choppy on it. So what's the need to be aggressive here? You know, just kind of let them fall into your lap, and you can dictate the terms as you please. So UA Gold doesn't have a need to react at the moment. And when they do, it tends to hurt like that. Tango taking one from the window. Warrior picking up another, but will be promptly refragged by Brapton. That's going to put it at a 2v4. But again, here comes the time crunch. 45 seconds remaining, and they still have to make that downward move. They do have vertical. They do have that library space. They don't know it, but they do have that control. But if they're going to capitalize on it, it's not a lot they can do, considering the best they've got is a hard breach charge and Hibanas. But with such little time, what can you really see? What can you do with it? Not all that much. They're going to have to make the drop. They don't really have time to play vertical. And it looks like Brapton's going to go for the hatch drop. That's what I like to call the suicide drop, because there's going to be so many eyes on it. They're expecting it, and there's the swing coming in from Void, taking him out. Tango taking another. It's the vertical shutdown from UA Gold as they secure yet another round in a row.
Yeah, just looking right there on such a time crunch in a 1v4, they know that Sight's going to get rushed. They probably also hear the footsteps above them, so it's only a matter of time before someone watching that hatch gets a little peek there and sees what's going down on the upstairs there. Yeah, just like you were saying, the play speed is a two-way street basically, and it's really dictated by how both teams are gonna rush the site here, whether it's gonna be fast, whether it's gonna be slow, and Akron has really controlled that, really holding SAU down in terms of play speed with these angles they're holding.
Yeah, SAU just, they have to play a little bit faster. And I do like the fact that UA Gold, Akron, instead of just simply waiting and see what happens, which that can cause problems if you get too complacent and they push too deep and you don't do anything about it. I do like how they are, you know, taking fights before they absolutely have to. Because what that does is it keeps your options open. And that's really important. They don't have to, right? By all means, they don't have to take these fights. But opting to do so when they have more options versus forcing fights when they don't really have a choice, I mean, it's a different story. It adds unpredictability, and it makes those fights actually winnable. When you fight when you don't have a choice, you're much more likely to lose than when you choose to fight on your own volition. And that's where UA Gold is going very right here in making SAU's pushes untenable.
Yeah, I really like how you stated that, how they're really controlling how SAU has been playing these last 3 rounds. Obviously that first round, not calling it a fluke, but I feel like Akron was very displaced that first round, just kind of like trying to get their footing. And once they got their footing, they were just full steam ahead. And it looks like SAU still kind of playing a little slow here. They are going to breach in, though, downstairs with Fun Momo King with this Blackbeard.
Yep, already making that advance. That's kind of the nice thing when you got a Blackbeard, is you can make those deep advances. And what on earth just happened? I wish we could have saw that grenade kill. That's tragic. Cypher does take one in turn, and that is going to be a big blow for UA Gold. With Echo going down, that's active utility now lost. But where did the drone or the grenade kill come from? I would love to know. You know what I mean? It's not like a cooked nade, but yeah, I wish we could have seen that. But I mean, I can't blame not seeing that. That was super unexpected. I was very surprised. Oh my gosh, impact comes in from Solarium. Now it's gonna bring Fun Momo King 1 HP. I mean, a feather cut down. So not quite, but still big damage. All it takes is one more impact, and Fun Momo King is going to be down, and there's their Blackbeard. That really mitigates the effect of the shield, because, I mean, look at the composition from Akron. 3 nitros, 1 impact. Any one of those. Again, a tickle from the feather, and he's gone. That's all it really takes. And so, he's going to try to go for this plant anyway, but that nitro's going to shut it down. Goes down before that even goes off. Confirms the kill. Doobie gets the refrag onto Tango. And now the advance begins. Cypher walking into bathroom. The pressure's mounting. Flashes coming out. You've got 2 stacked. This isn't good. Options limiting. Diffuser's now trying to go down. That's going to be coming in from Grim. And it does look like Doobie will be able to get it down despite the nitro attempt. Now they got to retake. Cypher on the double kill. But you've got Void Connector pushing up. Does nail big damage onto Doobie. Able to connect, and with 33 seconds on the clock, time is running out, and those Nomads are going to make it trickier. Cypher takes up a 3K. Void down. Does spot 1 on the leg. That's big damage to Cypher. The down 2 are low HP. 1 holding stairs. It's going to come down to the wire to get the defuse. Brapton's going to have to engage further. Flashes to try to displace, but Brapton will pick up the shots, still ensuring the round, with SAU now beginning to make a comeback. Very close, however, though a comeback nevertheless.
Yeah, really, really big initial push here from SAU. Obviously, that team kill nade was not ideal. Didn't really see where that was happening though, so not too sure. But what a kill right here from Void, really, really putting Doobie in his place. But eventually, they did get the diffuser down, and really, really deserved that round right there, especially after kind of that team sabotage there. Plus, with those impact nades on Fun Momo King on that Blackbeard. Really, really great clutch there from Brapton.
I mean, yeah, great play coming out from Cypher. I mean, he really put in the work in order to ensure that they would get that diffuse down. I mean, that was honestly just great cover down from Bathroom. Really, just how that fight went down. Being able to cut off, because that connector was the biggest protest point. And holding advance while you still got one in reserves in the back helps ensure you don't have a full collapse. Because you do have that lane of sight from Solarium. So it helps to hold that leverage long enough that it actually matters. Because if picks went out too early, then yeah, that advantage is going to falter. That stairs is not going to be as powerful because there's time to contest it, to push you back so you can just come right back and go for the diffuse. But thanks to Cypher's positioning, that didn't happen. Now, moving on to the next round. UA Gold still with the advantage. SAU has the opportunity to bring this back 3-3. It just comes down to playing this faster. But with Cypher on Nomad yet again, and those charges going to be put towards those runouts and other key positions that have got them choked out, this will provide them a much better opportunity in order to get a proper top-down clear, which is exactly what it looks like they're going to be going for here. And to be honest, it doesn't look like we're seeing a whole lot of presence second floor from UA Gold, but here it comes Blah Blah going for that sneak up onto connector. They know there's one connector, but I don't think they know where Blah Blah is, and there it is, taking out Warrior, completely oblivious, and we see Nook is still viable.
Yeah, really, really sneaky play here from Blah Blah, and they're still going to just kind of let him roam free here. I mean, just a really good pick. He got in there very quickly. Obviously, minute 30 left in the round, and presence is kind of being shown here. Blah Blah looks like he's really close to someone down there in the basement. And holding this office. Flash goes through Brapton. Do be getting that pick on Arv as well.
Yeah, I mean, that was a great play coming in from Brapton, because the thing I was scared about was, you know, pushing all the way into that vertical point, but they were able to hold it down, and Blah Blah picking up another. Doobie does go down, though. The nade, or the impact, it does connect. That's going to secure that kill. It's going to be a 1-for-1 with Void, the last one remaining, and all the way back into Blue Stairs. Kitchen, that whole walkway point is completely viable. And unfortunately for Void, with 40 seconds on the clock, time is not on his side. Unless SAU just plays this extremely slow, but the shots onto the drone just gave away where Void's position is. They have everything they need in order to mobilize in order to try to get this plant down. But you still got to navigate that choke point, but keep in mind, there's 3 Candelas available, 2 smokes, 2 fire, 1 nomad, flashes, I mean everything. But you don't need it. Just shoot. Just be the better gunner. That's all SAU needed. And it worked, as they have brought it back to 3-3 as we go into this second half.
Really, really great last few rounds from SAU there. Obviously going down 3-1 and then winning the next 2 to make it even at the half is just such a huge morale boost going into the second half. SAU's going to ban Ace, Akron going to ban Cade here. But yeah, just a really, really good overall last 2 rounds from the Bees. Just really how they were holding their positioning. And gonna look like we're banning Monty on the SAU side as well. Yeah, really, really strategic play, especially putting it down to that 3v1. Just yeah, really good last round from the Bees there.
Yeah, I do have to wonder where the castle ban is coming from. As of recent, I haven't been seeing a lot of castle play. I mean, yeah, there's an appeal if you want to block off lines of sights on Bathroom so you can kind of get frisky around the repel points on Solarium or Double Window. You know, you want to really start getting aggressive, sure, that's absolutely an option, but other than that, I just haven't seen Castle much at all, so I'm not sure what UA Gold is expecting with that ban. That does kind of throw me off a pretty good deal, but otherwise, pretty standard stuff. Cade, Monty, Ace off the board, nothing new there. Would you expect, honestly, anything else? I wouldn't. But with that being said, we're going to see this swap and how UA Gold goes about this attack. We've seen how infamously dangerous they have been in the past. Let's see if they can pull off that same kind of wild momentum that has made them so institutionally dangerous and put that onto SAU. Because if they can, I hate to say it, SAU fans, we know where this is going. But if not, this is still going to be pretty close. This will tell all.
Yeah, obviously, I would very, very much expect a pretty aggressive attack section here from the Zips of Akron, but never really count out. Doobie is great here when it comes to roaming on pretty much any map, and he's obviously he's just such a skilled player when it comes to that. Fun Momo King is gonna get burned out here, and Doobie is gonna get a pick, so it's gonna be all fours on the board. Just kind of sitting still here for Doobie on Jaeger a little bit, and it's looking like we have a crash.
Yeah, it does look like we have a crash,
Tango.
Unfortunately. Yeah, but either way, going forward, we're going to be 2-3, as UA Gold's going to start picking up the slack where they left off. It's going to be 2-3. They do have vertical established. That was a great pushback and execute onto securing second floor space. SAU took heavy damage there. I'm going to be honest, wasn't a fan of that corner hold with Library. There's a reason that it's only done with Doc, but either way, SAU, they keep getting exposed and popped on the spot, and that's another one down. Brapton leaving it down to Cypher to try to save it. Goes for the sneaky up blue stairs, but Akron Gold ain't having any of that.
And it's looking like we are gonna get a pause here. I believe Tengo crash DC'd something of that nature. So, Piercing, what are we thinking about Cypher's really shown that he can frag here, especially on Chalet? What are we expecting out of him?
You know, I was making fun of him quite a lot, just because, you know, he's a staff member, so I can't help myself, but, you know, frag one of our own, you know, staff members, so to speak. But I gotta admit, though, he's doing really well. I mean, he's putting in the work. I can see his cover down. I can see the positioning. I really do expect him to do more, but I'm afraid for SAU. Because what I am seeing is a dependency. It really does seem like Doobie and Cypher are kind of holding it all together. And when they get picked off early or they're kind of left alone, I've seen this kind of situation. Heck, I've experienced this. You know, when I played collegiate, when you're the last one and you're trying to just, you know, pull all of the issues onto yourself, you're trying to offload all those problems, it's not sustainable and it's not healthy. Eventually, everyone needs to come together, find those gaps, and fix them. And I'm afraid for SAU that's not what's happening. But either way, I mean, Cypher's been doing really well. You know, for all the crap that I give him, he's actually doing really good. But on the side of UA Gold, I do like the execute potential that we're seeing there. You know, they took their time, they cleared out, and they absolutely sent it. This is classic Akron behavior that we see, which is heavy homework, heavy prep work, and then clamp down hard. This is exactly what we expect. Though not as strong from the previous roster. That's the only caveat I would add. But otherwise, they're still doing a really good job on those types of executes and space taking. That's still classic Akron behavior, and I wouldn't expect anything less from them. They're still institutionally the GOATs of esports. But either way, will that be enough? Hard to say, because SAU did put up a good fight there, and they were able to whittle down some numbers. So this isn't gonna just be easy clean, though Warriors sure is making it look like that. Already taking Brapton down off the jump. That's an onside op, and worst yet, that's your smoke. So no stall on breach. If Akron Gold wants to go for a traditional breach, walk-in plant, they absolutely can when you've got an operator like that out of the way. Just got to bypass the nitros.
100%. And getting such an early pick right here is just so crucial for this Akron hold, whether it be a hop out or whether it just be a cheeky angle you're holding. Getting that early pick right there is just so crucial. And there's going to be another run out. Doobie's going to get traded here out by Arv. And very quickly, with under 2 minutes left, it's going to be a 5v3 in favor of the Zips.
Oh, yeah, they're looking really good. I mean, good, big clearing from Akron. And I mean, big space, too. On top of all of the utility that Bravo's taking as well, this is just, again, great setup. And also good cover down. They're not letting any openings. I mean, you can see from the way that they're positioning how they're watching for these flanks, how they're holding accountability. And yeah, there's the spot. I was waiting for it. You know, Arv not fully recognizing there's someone there, little processing like, wait, that's not my teammate. But either way, still, that's a big clear as well. It just seems like SAU is kind of scrambled at the moment when it comes to where they need to be and where Akron's positioning is going to come up from. And I mean, that makes sense. Is there any intel ops? Absolutely not. Valkyrie's on the board, but it's not being used. Walls popped, 1 nitro up, 2 impacts up. This is looking scary with 50 seconds on the clock. 5 players all up. Akron has got their execute, they've got their damage, but not without Cypher getting a little bit of pop shots onto Arv. That's going to be less than half HP, but either way, they've got a big wave coming in. Akron's got their desired setup. One stuck in the corner, goes to the swing. Crimson goes out, as Momo will be a better shot. With 30 seconds on the clock, still stuck in the corner. The mistimed flash, ooh, tragic. Fun Momo catches that. Warrior takes 1. This is going to be all up to Fun Momo King to ace this one out. As the last one standing, there's Blackbeard holding close, and Nitro doesn't connect, gets a little bit of damage on the Tango, but now completely stuck onto West Main, has to deal with that pressure, diffuser planting, no way to stop that, and gonna have to try to hold this out and take this position, goes to the melee, and gets the feed shots, takes it off, gets Blackbeard down, now the position to advance is available, that opportunity is open, but he's still got one holding all the way back in main, gets a big shot into Fun Momo King, put him down to very low HP. That long angle with the ACOG is going to be lethal to deal with because it's a 1 times with a headshot. That's what's needed in order to take that, but goes with a walk-up anyway. But despite that, there's the kitchen shot. Just didn't clear the right angles. I mean, a really good attempt, but it wasn't enough. It looks like UA's executions and their space taking, it is sustaining. We're 2 rounds up. And remember, their attack.
Yeah, really really interesting pick here from Arv. Kind of just caught blah blah looking the wrong direction there. But Fun Momo King really given such a great effort here, especially in this 2v4 situation where he needs to be on this diffuser to see if they're planting it. And he gets a really good kill right there, but unfortunately does not clear that kitchen area, and he's going to get traded off for the end of the round there.
Ooh. I do wonder if SAU was going to be able to come back from this, because, I mean, they really are getting crushed as far as space goes. This is so much damage that they have taken, and, you know, first time around, this was looking a lot more defensible, looking more contestable, but now it's looking... This last round was nowhere near as clean. This was a pretty one-sided situation, despite best efforts. But
yeah,
it simply
really,
just wouldn't do. It's an anchor situation. Like I said, you know, you've got Doobie and Cypher kind of holding it together, and when they fall apart, so does everyone else. But we do see a little bit of a big pushback. SAU looking to get active, and by that, I mean Cypher immediately takes one down in Mudroom. That's going to be Warrior, who, remember, is currently 10-6. Kind of the star player here, and that only leaves Void, who is positive. Everyone else is negative. So that one targeted pick actually does some pretty good damage.
Yeah, just a really really clean pick there from Cypher, and their SAU is playing a little bit faster here, which I do like to see. Obviously, you were talking about KD, Cypher with that 7 and 5. really, really just showing that he is just that great of a player. And I bet he is going to be teasing Doobie a little bit after this round because he is only going 6 and 7 negative. But SAU is going to slow this one down just a tad. Maybe trying to play their angles well, spotting that Mira. But Akron is going to spot the bomb sites now. So it's only a matter of time, I would say, before they're going to see a real big rush coming in here.
Oh, yeah, and that mirror pop is huge from Void. That's a big opening. That's going to allow UA Gold to push Solarium comfortably. But it does also give a little bit of a ping to SAU, a heads up of, hey, this is where they're going to be pushing from. That's why if you want to hold Solarium with a Mira, it does kind of allow you to focus on library side and just kind of leave it alone. But if you're going to want to do that so you don't have to really invest as much to hold those positions, you kind of want a mute jammer there. But since that didn't happen, now Akron has an opportunity to really advance. And look at that. They're already deep into Solarium. This is a scary situation to be in if you're SAU, especially with the fact that Tango on Blackbeard is still alive. That's a big pressure point. The Mira's down. I mean, the shield advantage clearly goes to Akron by a substantial margin. With 40 seconds on the clock, there is a decent margin of time available for UA Gold as well. Again, it's just so much patience coming in. The drone work is there, all the information's there, and oh my gosh, the drones deal big damage, but Brapton walks up and shuts down Diffuser. I don't know if that's timing or deliberate, but great aggression coming in, back to back. They do establish space on the connector, but the pushback is huge. Crimson and Arv are both very low on health, but they do manage to catch themselves in the corner to try to go for the plant. But Crimson is starting to get wrapped around despite Blah Blah's best efforts. Can't find the right spot to shut down that counter diffuse, and it does go down. But Crimson will sacrifice his life with it, leaving it all up to Arv on that same stairs position, but at critically low HP. And with two, one can plant, one can aggress. This is going to be rough unless they go for the initiative. One impact, doesn't connect. Still another, goes for the swing. Blah Blah connects, and that's it as SAU saves that round. They're not out of it yet, folks.
Yeah, probably the by far the most important round of the game right there. SAU really going to that pivotal fourth win there, because going down 6-3, really not a position anyone wants to be in. Yeah, really good pick there from Fun Momo King, but Brapton really the all-star of that round, getting two really, really good picks here. One there on Tango, and then the other one just in that doorway. And there you go, Blah Blah getting that final kill. Cypher taking down that diffuser. Really, really important round to win there for the Bees.
Yeah, they really needed that because that steamroll from Akron was getting devastating. But I do find it interesting that just from Warrior going down, we kind of saw the kills did not really sustain. But also, too, I think it was just overall kind of a slowdown towards Solarium. They didn't put enough pressure. They kind of were more focused on going for that plant. But also, too, there was that big pushback from Brapton. Brapton, that walk up into connector. That really destroyed the push. Because it's an extremely aggressive move. You've got nades on you. What's the expected response? Back up. But that's not what SAU did. That's not what Brapton did. Charge head first, stop diffuse, because that's what Akron wanted. They wanted to just get in just enough to go for the plant, back off, and just let it coast. But because of that one pushback, that destroyed everything. Forced them to get really uncomfortable with gunfights, right? And it kind of does show a little bit of a gap. You know, Akron Gold may be a bit rigid in their executions, such that if St. Ambrose can find that little gap, no matter how minuscule, but completely unexpected and atypical of what you would expect in response to nominal pressure, and takes it, no matter how small it is, it could be enough to introduce ripples, just because Akron is very regimented in how they go about things, and that just kind of throws a cog in the machine, and they might not be the most well-adapted to deal with that. That's the potential. Whether that's to be the case, or just a fluke, or just because Warrior died, we'll soon find out what the real truth behind that is.
Yeah, you're talking about the real truth here, and I think it's really, really important to bring up, like you were talking about that roster turnover. Having some really good players, but not having that experience of actually playing together really, really could injure that. Doobie's gonna get this pick here on Arv kind of quickly, but yeah, going back to that roster turnover, you could have a really good group of guys, but if they don't have that chemistry that's working between them, it gets really, really hard to just build a team around that. Warrior is going to get a pick here on Blah Blah through that window, and he's really looking to make a play here.
Yeah, itching for another pick. You can kind of tell just by the way he's cycling through that balcony looking for another. But it does look like Akron is primed to take another and more. They've got Piano, they've got Bathroom, they've got Solarium. This is big risk. The ping comes out. The shot's almost whipped, but they do ultimately connect, getting that kill. Can't get the Nitro out despite the best intentions from Doobie. That's going to put it 1-1. Not so much 1-1 anymore, as Crimsons will be able to take Fun Momo King down. That's going to put it to 2-3. With 44 seconds on the clock, it's still only a one-person disadvantage for SAU. This is still winnable, but it's going to be coming down to holding these positions tightly and perfectly. Keep in mind that Akron can't really set up any vertical, but they do now have an open line of sight, but that gets shut down. Being a little bit overexposed, Warrior Brapton will be able to take that down. Now going to be 2-2, and they're funneling towards that soft breach. That's dangerous. You still have them Lucy slowing down. This is going to be a problem. That was the last Lion scan, too. Crimson's going to have to walk across to that bomb to go for the plant out in the open. Crimson looking for a fight. Takes big damage on to Brapton. Can't secure the kill, but goes for the defuse anyway. And we see that Crimson isn't stopping. Has no option. Does manage to get it off. And Brapton down as well. That's a bundle deal. Cypher getting aggressive. Going for that corner swing. Can't take none. Goes for the pistol. No! Cypher goes for 2 and gets none. As Akron brings it to match points.
Akron there really trying to get aggressive towards the end of the round there. Obviously picking off Doobie and Cypher at the end. Do kind of like a couple of those whiff shots towards the end. Really, it gave it some comedic effect. But yeah, taking this round for Akron. Very, very important. Pushing this to match point. Obviously, you got that 2-round discrepancy. SAU is going to want some overtime here if they want to bring this match any closer.
Oh yeah, something's going to have to drastically change on the side of SAU if they want to be able to keep going toe-to-toe with Akron. Because so far, I mean, it looks like it was just a hiccup. I mean, Warrior went down, and again, like, the numbers speak for themselves. Other than Crimson's, Warrior's still the only one. Oh, actually, now Void. Never mind, I'm completely wrong. But I mean, for the longest time, Warrior's the only one that was positive. And I mean, we're talking serious numbers. We're talking about it for only a 2-round differential. Warrior's still 5 kills positive. That's a really dang good record to be keeping up at this point. But also, too, the fact you've got 2 other players that are positive shows that everyone's pulling their weight equally for the most part. No one's significantly negative. I mean, with the farthest we're talking is one death, and that's Arvin Tango. That's not really bad at all. That's not so much of a dependency as we were kind of seeing a little bit towards the beginning of the second half. But now everything's solidified. SAU, they really have to be more, I guess you could say, proactive or have fallback plans on their vertical, because we are seeing them hold these positions where they don't have a fallback. And Akron is capitalizing on it, and it's killing them. Now, in this case, oh, Tango goes down again. That's the disconnect. Warrior picks up Brapton. That's the 1-for-1. Now 1-for-2. Fun Momo King and Doobie pick up 1 and 1 respectively. That's big pushback, big fallback. You've got Doobie stuck in a corner, but you also have some backup as well. This is the kind of redundancy that SAU needed in order to keep it together. Having that fallback plan, having teammates you could depend on, all of these different options, it gives them a much better pushback against Akron's setup. Because once they get their setup, the damage is already done, and you're going to be in for pain.
Yeah, getting just those 3 picks or 2 picks rather in succession really, really good for SAU. Cypher is going to get picked there on the top of the steps by Crims. But yeah, just getting those quick picks just really throws a wrench in what they need to do here. And Arv really no health to work with here either. Doobie kind of low. Fun Momo King taking a little bit of damage, but they're just kind of try and play this slow game. A lot of pre-fires towards that hatch there. Doobie taking just a little bit more damage, really just hanging on for dear life at this point. But Arv kind of in the same boat. They're going to drop down to first floor here. SAU still just trying to hold him out of sight as long as possible. A couple shots going off here, maybe giving a little bit of intel. Gonna get the crossbow. Fun Momo King taking a little bit more damage. Really just holding this living room angle as Crims tries to look in there. SAU doing a really good job of just holding their sight, holding the angles they really need to. And there, Fun Momo King getting one trade. And there you go, Doobie closing out that round with a big kill here, playing this kitchen counter. Just a little jiggle peek. Didn't really need to style on him. And SAU is going to take that round back, bringing them one step closer to a tie game.
I mean, yeah, this is so unbelievably close. And Akron really did have some potential to push back here. They took out vertical, got that space with good time. They even were able to take one into the connector. But fact of the matter is, if you're not able to capitalize on vertical, it's really, really hard to get rid of that bar player. It's tough. You know, 2 players against 3 on that site. I mean, that's a nightmare scenario. You're basically banking on the defenders getting reckless, and you saw them tucked in their corners. They were holding it down. They refused to move an inch. Not even a peek for intel. Nothing. They were playing that exactly how you would, because it's so brutal to clear out any given angle without exposing yourself instantly to 3 different lines of sight. It's really hard. And so SAU called that to just stay freaking put. And if one goes down, another head pops up and swipes it. That's how you handle it. But yeah, I mean, it really does... Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just saying that was by far the best defensive round for SAU there. Just really looking at these corners and playing them well. You know, you hear shots, one swings, another swings. There was just really a lot of chemistry in that round, even for being just a 3v1. Really capitalizing on those picks and then playing just really, really elite defense when it comes to those close situations near the diffuser.
Oh, absolutely. And the only thing I kind of get worried about is whether or not we see SAU be able to be consistent on that. Can they consistently hold that same level of chemistry? Because it does punch against exactly what Akron has going against them. They're very disciplined on their drone work, they're very disciplined on their executes, and they have a rehearsed regimen. This is their philosophy, this is their approach, and honestly, it works incredibly well. But if they get disrupted, it looks like this new roster's adaptability is kind of on the weak side. Their biggest potential vulnerability. And we are now seeing that execution. And I want to point out that there is not a lot of presence from SAU as far as being able to deny the Solarium walk-up. They have the position now fully solidified, and there is no one on SAU who's ready to fight this. And keep in mind, they already have a drone deep into sight. The Lion Scan coming up. They have perfect intel to pre-fire and take these fights. Does look like the drones are getting spotted. Only 3 drones remaining, so Akron's not going to be really able to drone much more than this, but they already have the information they need. Diffuser going down. Now the fight's coming out. Blah, blah, taking Crimson's, trying to stop that diffuser. Void does get off, takes a good amount of damage, goes for the knife, but the shots do put him down, and that will be the finish off with Blah, blah knifing. Cypher picking up Warrior. It's going to be a bloodbath, as right now, it's looking like UA is in the dark here, but Tango picks up 2. Oh my gosh, another ARV picking up 1, 2. All of a sudden, it's a 1v2 situation. Talk about a devastating blow, piano side, giving a fighting chance. 45 on the clock still, has to push through a very dangerous choke point here. That's going to be over by Bedroom, but does manage to sneak all the way up to Bomb. Chassis has Diffuser in hand. Now, going for that plant and impact. Doesn't connect. One below, and a great shot by Half Wall. What a pick onto Fun Momo King. And now it's going to be up to the walk-up. The impact giving away the last players below. But with 20 seconds left on the clock, Arv's options are running low. And then you got the Kiba brilliantly used to block off and allow for the safe walk and rotate. Arv is going to have to stick this. Takes damage, and no! The clutch is gone as Doobie shuts it off, securing the overtime.
What a shot from Doobie. The Bees almost tossing that round away. They were, was it a 5v2?
Coming out, blah blah taking Crimson's trying to stop that diffuser. Void does get off, takes a good amount of damage, goes for the knife to put him down, and that will be the finish off with blah blah knifing. Cypher picking up Warrior.
Bees are gonna send this one to overtime and close it out. Really nice shots here by Doobie to close that thing out.
Going for that planted impact.
Will block off and allow for the safe walk and rotate. Arv is going to have to stick this. Takes damage and no! Yeah, I mean, what more can I say? That was great retaliation from Akron. Adaptability. That's what I was talking about. Adaptability. We saw some of that. We saw some big pushback in piano. Their take didn't go according to plan, and they got some big damage onto SAU. But man, we've got some big ballers on SAU. Doobie, Cypher, we've got some clutches going around here. Even Fun Momo King's putting out some good damage. When it comes time to clutch, SAU can bring it. They've got some players who can put that damage down. And it is winning them rounds. This is like, what, the second, third time that we've seen a 1vx1 by SAU? They're really putting off the damage, and it is going for effect. Full effect, for that matter. I mean, these were big developments. I still don't like the dependency on having these clutches. That it does kind of, you know, signal some asymmetry as far as team synergy. But if it pulls through for them, it pulls through for them. You set up for success, you get success, regardless of whether or not you have a team behind you or just one to get the job done. But as far as Akron goes, I love that pushback. It shows potential. It shows growth. Whether they can take that to solidify or to actually secure the win that was just taken away from them, or if they lose sight, we're going to find that out.
Yeah, you mentioned kind of that clutch factor where even if they are getting themselves in these sticky situations, you know, they can work it out. And obviously that's been shown in 2 or 3 of these rounds and whatever 1v1s, 1v2s. They're really showing that they can sit here and compete and that they can hit these clutches. They can decide these big rounds, especially that last one, sending that one to overtime. It's a really good factor to have in these late rounds of the game.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. I mean, it's crucial if they want to be able to really close this out. Now, we're going to be seeing back on the second floor, Akron looking to go for that Books K9 walk-in. I haven't seen one of these that have actually gone well in a good while, but with this line of sight, I don't like how Fun Momo King's Holy Prone here. Kind of exposed here. There's the cross. Yeah, it's going to be devastating. Arv picking that up. Brapton gets the pushback. That's the 1-for-1. Warrior, the top frag, is now down and out with a minute remaining. They're going to have to push through. They don't have a lot of building presence other than Library. They're going to have to push through some really nasty chokeholds if they want to be able to secure this round. And already 2 smoke canisters are down from Brapton. That's going to be a 30-second deficit that they're going to have to work through, that they're going to have to hold this off. Akron loves to go in for these sneak walk-ins and plants, but SAU has seen this one too many times. They're ready for it, and unfortunately, they don't have the utility to back up that preparedness, but they know to expect it. The plants are going out as far as the flashes and the call, but Doobie shuts it down, taking one. That's the sneak walk-up. Gets refragged, though. There's the sneak-up we've been talking about, and it's going to be Crimson's to pull that off. Cypher going down to try to stop it, putting it 2-2. Diffuser not down. Brapton out as well. Crimson's now going to be re-engaging Diffuser. Now we see the sprint trying to take the half-wall position. Gets that shot off. That's big. 3 seconds on the clock. Who's going for a diffuser? Void's hunting for the kill, but there's no time! SAU leading it and ready to possibly take map 1.
Yeah, just such a good kind of running in circles here from Brapton, really just trying to lead him away from sight. He knows he has no time to plant the diffuser, but Brapton obviously using that game sense to kind of lure him away. He knows that he has to get the kill there, and yeah, just really pulls him away from that site, and great clutch up from Brapton there. There's our scoreboard.
Yeah.
We're going to get a timeout
Such
going into this first
great
overtime round.
Performance from both teams. I mean, this just blows my mind. I mean, you know, if you told me a year ago that SAU would be going toe-to-toe to Akron like this, I would have told you you're full of crap and that you need to actually pay attention to collegiate esports. But, I mean, they're really pulling it off. The stats don't lie. Doobie 12-10, 9-9, 9-11, 9-10, 7-9. Numbers are really close here. Same with Akron, 12-10, 8-8, 10-9, 11-11, 7-8. I mean, the biggest differential at this point is 2 on kill and death. That's from blah blah. But I mean, you've also got a lot of assists going around here. I mean, you've got as much as 6 from Cypher, and then you got multiple with 4 from Akron. Everyone's pulling their weight. The power is there. You can feel these teams coming out fire for effect, and it's so close. I mean, SAU has been trailing behind for a while. Seeing them take the lead like that, I mean, devastating to Akron. Again, the adaptation, the adjustments, it's there, but they're still playing that same general book. They want that sneak in plant, but they need to do something more threatening. Maybe some smokes, maybe a shield. There's gotta be something to just walking up and planting, which has been their strat book this whole time. But SAU knows it. They're punishing it hard. Something's gotta change, or Akron loses this map. Oh wait, it's flipped. Duh. Never mind. But I mean, that still applies for overtime if Akron wins this. But I mean, it's still, that doesn't work. And now Akron has to win this to even be able to explore that scenario.
Yeah, you're talking about that scenario where these teams flip one more time. But you do have to take into account that SAU, when they were playing fast in those first couple rounds on attack, they were really getting it done. I mean, really just, especially with that Solarium control you were talking about. It's such a power position, especially when they're playing fast, running in there, getting one of these opening picks. It gives SAU such just a good position to go forward and win the round.
It's been so close. It's insane how both of these teams have turned out, and the improvement from SAU. I mean, we're talking, honestly, what's looking to be so far a completely different team, but now we're going to be pushing forward. Library control's already established. Let's see if SAU can pick up the pace. They've had a problem with timing and also kind of being choppy on watching for flanks, but I can see the paranoia from Cypher. Cam's on blue stairs, watching for flanks. You can tell that SAU does not want this to happen again. They've seen it enough times. They're fed up. They're not going to let this happen anymore. And can you blame them? Akron's got some pretty nasty licks on SAU when it comes to their defense rotations. You can't really blame them for not wanting to deal with that anymore. But it does seem like we're going to see a pretty big pressure point like we saw when SAU took the first round in the first round of this game. All the way in basement where we kind of saw that walk up. But that's a big blow. Void taking down Cypher. All of that flank watch utility now down. Floodgates are open for Akron to really run this out if they want, but it looks like we're going to see potential early execute from SAU. You've got the Candelas now going out. Looks like they're going to try to go for the push here. They want to possibly secure this plant, or at least get some good gains in ground, but instead, Warrior will be getting a shot onto Doobie. That's going to be the pushback. The Candela effect now weakened and gone as blah blah also goes down, but it looks like they still want to carry some kind of momentum, some kind of ground. But a headshot from Warrior will kill that for good, as it's going to be up to Fun, Momo King, in order to make something happen here. But this is one of the nastiest crosses you can deal with. And with no wall open, 30 seconds on the clock, and going against the headshot machine Warrior, I think we're just going to be looking at fate here, as we will see that overtime flip. That very scenario coming to life. But despite that, still trying his best to get a diffuse down. All that smokes and burns in order to get an opening. Now going to have to push the double. The Nitro goes out and perfectly placed as Crimson takes down Fun Momo King. We are going to double overtime.
Yeah, what a round there on defense from Akron. That was such a well thrown Nitro, really just predicting when he was going to run out there. Obviously, you mentioned Cypher just watching those steps with that cam constantly, just being super paranoid about either the flank, the run out. And Akron's done a really good job of putting pressure on that specific element.
Mm-hmm.
But we are going to be pushed into double overtime there.
Yep. Oh, and one small correction. This is Akron Club. Completely mixed that up, so that explains everything. The roster changed. Now I'm starting to see the picture. But I mean, so far, regardless, both of these teams have been playing so well. I really don't have any complaints, regardless of which way it goes. Obviously, we've seen the weaknesses, we've seen the strengths. I would still say SAU is at the advantage here, just because of what we've seen out of their defense and how Akron's club is still sticking to that mentality of just trying to sneak in a plant, just trying to get around the corner. And SAU is so used to this. I mean, we're seeing two impacts, 2 nitros. They're not having it. And also you got Brapton still on the smoke. Akron's going to have to pull out something really different here as far as their execute method if they want to divert fate.
Yeah, and we've really seen SAU, again, going back to that clutch factor on these defensive rounds in these 1v1s, 1v2s, where they're showing that they can hold their own. Obviously, you mentioned club team, but they're really just holding their own on these short, close clutch scenarios where they got to win this round, and they've really shown that they can win those rounds.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's exactly what you can expect from any kind of Akron program, no matter what it is. But, I mean, this is kind of the lower side of that philosophy of, you know, that prep and execution. It's that weakness, is that kind of weaker flexibility. Now, the main roster, I'm sure, won't have this problem. Or maybe they could, I don't know. But, I mean, that's kind of where this philosophy can kind of degrade a bit if, you know, you don't have baked into contingencies, which it doesn't seem like Akron Club has the strongest in. Now, with 1:33 on the clock, we've seen quite a lot of outside presence from Akron. Not so much inside presence at the moment. They're going to have to get their boots on the ground at some point and face all of these players who are just waiting, looking to cause trouble, such as Doobie over by Main. And there's that walk up. Oh, Arv down, as well as Tango, but goes down in turn. But the damage is done. It's worth it. That's why you cannot fully trust those track stingers, or at least you gotta be ready to retaliate. It's not a guarantee that nothing will go wrong, as we clearly saw there. I mean, a very fast push from Doobie, and a big setback for Akron. The question is, how do they adapt? They take out Fun Momo King, putting it 3-3. 47 seconds on the clock, and so far, we're not seeing a whole lot of vertical. It really just comes down to bad positioning from SAU. No, Cypher goes down. Brapton, too, falling apart. They got greedy. The positioning, they left themselves open. 30 seconds on the clock, but this is bad news. 3 players, low on time, but plenty of refrag opportunity. Now it's going to come down to this execute and this push. You still have one holding the window. Diffuser going down. That's from Crimson's. Now secured and ready to go. Tries to walk up. Warrior shuts it down. And that's it, folks. Akron almost loses it. Gets scarily close. But secures it. SAU, they had a really good running. A really good potential for comeback. But they got choppy. I was worried about that. I was wondering where that team synergy would be. Would it hold? Would they last? Would they be disciplined in their positioning like we beautifully saw in Bar? And no. SAU didn't do it on the ground at some point and face all of these players.
Yeah, bringing that
waiting, looking to cause
going up
trouble,
2 picks, especially right here with Doobie, such just
There's
really
walk up.
good
Oh,
long-range
arc
kills.
down as well
But
as Tango.
obviously
but
not able
goes
to
down in
capitalize
turn,
on
but the
that
damage
final,
is done. It's worth it. That's
final,
why
like,
you
what, 30 seconds or
cannot
so?
fully trust those tracks,
Just every
37
angle
seconds
being
on the
watched
clock.
like a hawk,
So
and
far,
it kind
we're
of started
not
right
seeing a
here
whole
with
lot of
Cypher getting
really
traded
just comes
out.
down to bad
And,
positioning from
yeah.
SAU.
Just really, really unfortunate timing there and angles. Just, I mean, really good game overall. Obviously, Doobie with, 14 and 12? Just really, really great showing from both sides.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like, I just love the way you can see kind of the mentality, you can see kind of the gameplay, and you can see where the weaknesses still hold. But I mean, it's very fixable. Well, maybe not so much for Akron Club. Like, they're still kind of going for that same walk up into a hard corner, force the plant. It's still hurting them badly, but their early round clears are helping to mitigate that significantly. But as far as SAU goes, they've got a really good retaliation matrix. I mean, as far as what we saw from their risk-benefit analysis, with Doobie taking that push past the track stingers up main, they can call the shots quite well on defense. But their positioning is choppy. It's really choppy. And the flank watch is something to be really scared of if you're an SAU fan. So we'll see how this progresses as we move on to our next map, Clubhouse. But first, we're going to go on a break. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. And I'll see you in just a moment. Me and Meef.
See you guys.
For this next matchup here, folks, we're on to game 2, which is going to be Clubhouse. Excited to get this one going. I mean, we just saw a thriller for game 1. Super close. What are we thinking here? Meef, what do we think we're going to see here? You think this is going to be another close burner too?
I mean, just judging by what we saw last game, Absolutely great matchup between both teams. I mean, very even on the kill side. Obviously, what we saw. Um, Again, I want to bring up how important that clutch factor is for SAU. Where if they get worked into a pinch, they're really good at working themselves out of it, just one by one, pick by pick, kill by kill, really just trying to bring themselves back into a position to win the round, and they've been doing that really well. Obviously, dropping that first map, but obviously really close in an 8-7 loss, and we're gonna see how map 2 plays out as we start doing these bans.
Yeah. I will say this though, Clubhouse is still a classic 3 just like Chalet. So all the strengths, all the weaknesses, they still apply. However, the pendulum swings here against SAU here. The reason why? Because Clubhouse is much more rigid and much more regimental. So that alone puts Akron Club at the advantage. But on top of that, this is also Akron's pick, and we saw how there were some inconsistency struggles with SAU. So looking at the strengths and the weaknesses of both of these teams, and yeah, the unpredictability of SAU can absolutely help to throw off Akron, but even for a map like this, you know what to expect, even for the unexpected. It's too heavily drilled, so I don't think SAU is going to have as many opportunities to slip between the cracks on their defense. So I am going to say, prediction-wise, Akron Club is solidly at the advantage here, based on the dynamics that we have observed so far. But we can sometimes see a whole different team depending on the map. So maybe Akron hasn't rehearsed this map very much. Maybe, SAU has something up their sleeve that we've never seen before. But just going off of raw judgment, I would say this is going to be solidly Akron territory. And already we're seeing aggressive presence coming in from Tango, already pushing in towards CCTV. Now they're going to be getting ready to take over Cash.
Yeah, as you were saying about just the map being so rigid, a lot of very tight angles. All the walls on this map are mainly square, so you don't really get a lot of those odd angles. You got very straight angles here on Clubhouse that are going to get taken advantage of very early, just like right there, looking up those stairs. But yeah, I would agree that Akron is going to take the advantage here, but they are going to come out swinging right away, getting that very early pick on Doobie. Just under 2 minutes left in this round. Cooking the nade there, maybe going to get the pick. Going to get Cypher a little bit low, though.
Oh, that's a big loss. Tango going down, but Warrior picks up the double kill. That's going to put it 2-2, but the fact of the matter remains that SAU has backed up hard here. We're talking a minute and 30 seconds. They've got construction, they've got cash, they have CCTV. This is big ground that have been gained. SAU does have an opportunity to push back now that Tango Blackbeard has went down, but it looks like SAU is not taking on that opportunity, and that's because Void on the balcony is putting on some pressure here, and that's going to allow Warrior to capitalize and secure that construction position. A minute remaining, time is looking really good for Akron in order to push this further. Does manage to get that rotate into Logic. That's big. This positioning could displace and cause devastation, but the Fenrir gives the positioning away. Does manage to get out, and that's going to be thanks to Arv providing cover fire from above. Great positioning coming in from Akron. Again, that rehearsal is huge. A little bit of shots onto Cypher. Can't secure the kill, though. Crimson's going to take some big damage here. 40 seconds on the clock. Still a lot to work with. Cypher goes down. Now with 35 seconds on the clock, and they've got space to advance into bedroom and go for that plant. But blah blah, low at HP, does bring Crimson's low, but there's the walk-up from Logi. That's going to be Arv, who will be able to take blah blah down. All up to Brapton, has to walk upstairs. The smoke, block it off, takes one, but the refrag comes in. Arv pushes deep and secures the win. Akron taking round 1 of map 2. Akron, not so much inside presence at the moment. They're gonna strongest. The minute and 33 on the clock. Yeah. Big damage coming in from Akron. But I mean, again, we kind of talked about the regimented protocols, and they took it out cleanly. But what also played to the benefit was that there really wasn't a whole lot of upsets. I mean, sure, they lost Tango over by Cash, and that was rough. But here's the thing, though. Tango did what he needed to do, which was take Cash control. That was all they needed. So it really didn't matter. This is one of those few occasions where I'd say it didn't really make all that much of a difference. Tango did what he needed to do, created space for Cash, pushed him all the way back into construction and beyond for that matter, thanks to Void capitalizing on that balcony control. And that pretty much set the stage for Akron to pretty much have done what they already needed to. I mean, you're gonna expect some casualties. It's gonna happen. You know, that's the art of war for you. I mean, if nobody gets taken out, you drink, you celebrate, right? But that's just not reality. You know, some are gonna go down, it happens. And with that being said, Akron still played the protocol perfectly. There wasn't really a significant pushback that could jeopardize that. Now, with that being said, going into the next round, we are gonna see them playing around basement, and they're already looking to try and get Logi Hatch, or not Logi Hatch, Kitchen Hatch open. There is one playing around Logi that Akron has to watch out for, and so far they're invested heavily into Kitchen side at the moment. There's no one really to account and check for that player above that could prove to bite them if Akron funnels too heavily here, because right now they don't have a confirmation on that player.
So one thing I do want to mention, you were bringing up how obviously these tight angles, but Akron was doing really well last round on what I would call complementary play, where one angle is getting watched and they're really gonna, if they hear shots, they're gonna really shift over. Fun Momo King is gonna get Tango there, but they were really good at just shifting their momentum towards their intel, especially that last kill, where you had one Akron player, and then the second they heard shots, the other one jumps out of the door and gets the pick on that final. Ooh. Fun Momo King getting another one there. But yeah, the complementary play is really where Akron has been shining so far.
Yeah, with already 2 down, SAU is putting some numbers onto Akron. And on a site like this, you want every number possible so you can approach from different angles. Once you're at 3, you're risking 2 at one angle and then 1 alone. You don't have any double upping at all. So if that one solo player goes down, well, now you're funneled, and it's going to be really hard to get a proper attack down. But regardless, they do manage to get the hatch drop. They're already into Armory. That's going to be Arv looking to take one, but unfortunately for them, Warrior goes down, Arv soon after, and now it's going to be all up to Void, who's all alone up in Kitchen. 40 seconds to go, and there's really not a lot that can be done here. This is the nightmare scenario. 1v5 in basement. Not a whole lot you can really do here. I mean, there's so many angles that you have to clear, so many chokeholds, crossfires. Unless SAU gets extremely sloppy in their positional discipline, I don't see a way for our Akron to secure a win here. And yeah, there's the crutch. SAU, flawless round.
Great flawless round there from SAU. They're really showing just how they can lock down that basement. Obviously, that basement being a very locked down area with the hatches and just all the tight angles that they can really capitalize on. Obviously, holding the hatches. They were really locked down and doing good on holding those down.
I mean, yeah, great shutdown from SAU. But this time, there was actual real pressure to throw off Akron. We had that Logi player. We had the bar presence. And we had the tunnel pushback, too. All of these little bits of pressure just proved too much to bear for Akron. But in all honesty, when you're dealing with a team that knows the protocol, knows the details on a map like Clubhouse, which is their pick, what do? You crank up the unpredictable aggression to the extreme. You take it to an 11, which is exactly what they did, forcing fights left and right, and they won them all. They were able to get every single one of them. And if SAU can turn Akron's initial entries into walking disasters, this can be a way for them to carve out some serious round wins and maybe even an advantage into the first half. Though I would say that's probably be speaking a bit out of line there, just a little bit, but could be a possibility.
Right away, Akron's going to get that mirror pop on that soft wall, which is really going to get them good positioning up on that roof, and really just kind of start the round off where they have this point where the mirror's already popped, so they have a really good entry point and where they can start their offensive.
I mean, yeah, they've got a great positioning to really kick off if they want to. But it all comes down to what SAU does to push back. And we're already seeing that Warrior going to take significant amount of damage. Go for the flash anyway, looking to try to get that rotate out of that bad line of sight. That Warrior stuck in between Brad and Garage, but does manage to get away. And that's going to keep their life up. Over-aggressive Doobie on the peak from Garage balcony. Got to get absolutely popped. And that's going to be by Arv, putting it to 4 and 5. Warrior still low HP, but still below, providing cover with a little bit of backup from Tango. If you're going to use shields, that's a good way to do it for that additional protection, which they do have. There's still one on the balcony. That's going to be Cypher to try to hold down that fight with that little shoddy. Ooh, we will see blah blah going down, and now the walk up onto Red begins. 3 and 3. That walk up not all that successful, but they do get that window pick. That's gonna be Void. That's the balcony player that we've seen. The pressure now up to Red as Fun Momo King goes down as well. Now the fuser going out, and Captain has to find one. Get this Blackbeard out of their face somehow. Not having any luck or success.
Oh,
finally does get it, but not before Void gets the cover down to finish the job. Good try. Very unfortunate, but it does mean that Akron sustains the lead.
Yeah, I think Akron's been playing those shields very well, especially with that Blackbeard, just really getting in the face and trying to delay I got no words. Delaying the round as much as possible, and SU's gonna go ahead and ban Blackbeard right away there.
I mean, can you blame them? Every time that we've seen SAU lose a round, what was the common theme? Akron had Blackbeard. So, I mean, you can't really blame them for making that decision. It's about what you would expect when both of your round losses have that one operator in common. I mean, hey, that's the shield crutch meta for you. Not saying that it is a crutch on the side of Akron, but I am saying that that is a pattern that is very prevalent. But in any case, aside from the perceived slight that I had just given, we're going to be moving on to this next round. We're going to see SAU now take another stab at Gym and Bedroom. We're going to see if they can better hold cash, because this was a point of contention. But to their benefit, Akron no longer has the Blackbeard, which was crucial for causing that deep displacement. But remember, Void has been so dangerous on the balcony. Though, we haven't seen a run out against Void. That could be all it takes. And SAU just have that option as in their pocket. And that could be all it takes in order to flip this round.
Yeah, that Blackbeard was really their X factor in that first round, and SAU taking it away from them really could turn the tide of this one. Obviously, only being 1-2 very early in this round here, but yeah, that Blackbeard was absolutely the reason they won, and SAU took it away from them. So we'll have to see how that one plays out.
Indeed, we'll see how that plays out. I mean, I do have to wonder what will happen. Oh, Warrior, that's so cheesy. Going for that little melee hole. I haven't seen that in a long time, doing stuff like that. But can't find anyone inside. Screw it, gonna hop in anyway. Now looking to go for that cash clear. Again, remember, SAU can push back here. They don't really have any of that cover, and that's what I was talking about. Fun Momo King taking Warrior off the rip, and this is already looking a lot weaker as far as a cash take. Cypher does go down early. That's gonna be rough. Cypher hasn't been exactly having a good time. 0-3 at the moment. So, I mean, low impact. But what's higher impact is Crimson taking the double kill onto Fun Momo King. And that is going to strain the numbers, forcing a walk back away from Cash, whether they like it or they don't. Claymore's going out. That's going to mitigate that run out. Or at least it's going to create a situation where it's a 1-for-1 sacrifice. You know, Void goes down, but so do you. But that might be a necessary sacrifice now that Cash has been established.
Yeah, Cypher not getting off to the start he would have liked compared to the last game, but Blah Blah and Brapton especially, Fun Momo King as well, really picking up the slack that Cypher did leave. This hatch is really getting watched though, and wow, Doobie's gonna get picked off that hatch by Arv. What a shot!
Yeesh. Yeah, that's a clean pick coming out. Now at a 1v3. Seems like Akron has been able to push some major grounds. It's all going to be up to this hole. Diffuser's now being planted. That's going to be thanks to Arv. Going to have to find one in order to shift this momentum and create a power vacuum. There it is. Tango going down. It's going to be Void versus Arv. Now dealing with that bout problem, but Blah Blah will walk right into Void's loving line of sight and take a clean shot out. Akron still holding it. But now with a 2-round differential, SAU has to win 2 rounds in a row if they want to get the standard split. Otherwise, it's going to be an uphill battle. That inconsistency is going to be a twofold problem on their attack.
Yeah, this is kind of what you were talking about pregame about just how tight these angles are and how Akron was going to play it, because of this being obviously a lot tougher map. And looks like you hit the nail right on the head there about how Akron is going to play this out.
Yeah, I think for basement, we saw SAU take this round last time. I think they absolutely could take it again. I don't see why not. I mean, they didn't run a shield last time. They still lost it. And they don't have a shield this time around. But I think it really comes down to this. If Akron does not take that clear in tunnel, bar, and Logi seriously, which they really kind of skirted on last time, they didn't really have a tight-knit clear for that on the roamers, I think they're going to get swept again. But if they play that cleaner, they could have a chance to turn this around, establishing that advantage with an opportunity to make it even steeper. But already, we have one in bar. That's Blah Blah. This is exactly what I'm talking about, already looking to make that advance. This one pick could jeopardize everything from Akron off the rip. But the fire does prevent Blah Blah from advancing even further, forcing to back off. Tries to go for a wall bang, can't connect the shots. They know Blah Blah's there and an active threat. But how does Akron respond in turn? Do they go for the push, hunt down Blah Blah, or leave him alone and possibly do damage later?
Yeah, Blah Blah had such a good power position there, obviously before the fire went off, but he was really holding off that Akron advance, and Brapton kind of holding a very long cross through the site there. But it looks like Void might be able to get the diffuser down if he plays his cards right. Oh, he's going to get picked by Braps Nitro.
Yep, and now you can see two dropping. Akron's going to double down on this. This is that forced walk-up I was talking about. Fun Momo King pushing it. Taken 2. Doobie takes another. That's Tango down. Now it's going to be up to Arv. I'm telling you, I don't like those force plants that Akron tries to do. For that reason. Arv does take 1. But you got 4-1. Oh, how are you going to teabag when your team just got swept on a force plant? That's dirty work. Folks, I don't know what to tell you, but, I mean, that's a moment of all time to be sure. A minute remaining. Arv still has a long way to go. And with that kind of confidence, I'm expecting some real fire here. Otherwise, it was all for naught, just a show. A shotgun holding close. This is always one of the scariest moments, especially with a properly timed peek. Oh no, The shot giving away Arv's position. You know what's coming, folks. The shotgun swing. When's it gonna happen? The suspense, it's building. With 35 seconds left, goes to the peak, and oh my gosh, Brampton misses that shot. Arv actually takes it. 30 seconds remaining. SAU, don't get sloppy on the positioning. Still a lot to go in order to get that plant down, especially with diffuser all the way back in tunnel. That's a lot of work just to be able to get the plant. Looking for one. There's the swing. Doobie shuts it down, and we're done. That little D-bag doesn't do you anything, I'm afraid. It gives a little confidence boost, but you need a little more than that if you want to save a 1v5 situation.
I would say if I was 7-1, I would have that kind of confidence. Maybe not a body shooting confidence, but you know, I'd be swinging with a little bit more swag, in my humble opinion.
Now moving into the next round. I wonder if that mentality is going to carry into SAU, bringing it to a 3-3. SAU, do the funniest thing ever. Build that vengeance. Feel the tension. Be angry. You just got teabagged when you were dominating. Feel the rage. Take revenge. Bring it to 3-3. We all love when smugness gets shut down, but I'm just giving crap to Akron. Akron still has, at the end of the day, another opportunity to bring it into a solid advantage, which would be the 2-4 onto the split. But at the end of the day, even if they lose this round, they've still done their job, which kind of warrants that teabag. Oh no, that's like the worst timing. Yeah, that's holy crap. If he had disconnected just a second earlier, that would have, I believe that would have been a rehost. That is horrendously tragic. I mean, it's one thing to, you know, disconnect like mid-round. Sure, whatever. Disconnecting right after the action phase started.
Second into the round.
Yeah, that feels bad. I really do blame them. That sucks. But, oh, I guess you could say that's a little bit of karma for the little teabag we saw. But regardless, now getting into this, they're going to be aiming to try to... they could try to go for that wall with R with that secondary breach, but you got to keep in mind you've got Von Momo King, who's going to be actively denying that, as well as the mirror to watch it too. So there's a lot of options to keep that wall open. It's not going to be all that easy, but you do have Void watching, and that's going to help to try to secure that wall by cutting off Bandit if he so tries to make that ground. But so far, we haven't seen too much, and Arv has already picked one up off the rip. That's one down. And instantly puts it even 4-4. And Brampton, what are you doing out in the open? You gotta be ready for that position. No way. Void takes that. It's now 3v4, and it turns out that teabag was for something. Arv does get the spot on one below, goes out in the open to Doobie's loving hands. The 9mm takes it out. 3-3, even again. Akron, you got a chance. This is very doable. Taking 2, losing 1.
Yeah, that first opening pick was really, really crucial for Akron. Obviously having that DC right away, but it really set the pace for how they could start this push, and maybe it works here, judging from this push. Oh. Wow. Fun Momo King goes down, but Doobie's going to get the pick on Crim. Another pick from Void taking out Doobie. And it's going to be a 1v2 here for Blah Blah, checking every single angle, and he's going to get picked out by... Is that Vol? I believe so.
Reho's coming.
Wow. Well, I can say this. The ego was kind of earned because Akron absolutely popped off, and I love the walk up from Red. I will say this, though, realistically speaking, you would be ready to have your gun out. That Nitro, kind of not the right decision there, especially when you have an impact. That should be kind of like your signal of, hey, there might be someone who's actually close. Now, if it was shooting it, yeah, let that Nitro rip. But in that situation, I would be a little bit nervous of a walk-up, and that's exactly what happened.
Gonna have to find one
Yeah, I really liked the strategy of Akron right there, especially, going in a man down. You've really you got to make a play there to keep your team alive, because going down 2 men is just such a disadvantage when it comes to holding angles. And they really capitalized on that first pick, and that's eventually how they won that round. It was a really solid strategy there from Akron, and they ended up taking it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, this is a good situation if you're Akron. Being 4-2 on your map, that's the dream going into the defense. SAU's got a lot of bullets to sweat here. This is going to be a nerve-wracking situation for them. Pulling up the same favor in kind, a 4-2, that's not easy. I mean, you're talking 3 factors. 1, this is a 3-3 map, not a 4-2. 2, the philosophies of both teams favors Akron, especially on this attacker-defender setup, even more so. And at the end of the day, 3, this is Akron's map pick. The odds are stacked for SAU. I hate to tell the SAU fans out there, but you better start clutching your pearls, because this is going to be tight. Hard to say who will come out on top here. Maybe it'll be SAU, but I mean, I can't say for sure. They could pull something wild out of their pocket, but I'm going to be honest, the statistics and everything we've seen, they don't lie. Mm-hmm. It's really looking like it's going to be a done deal, and Akron comes out on top. But who knows?
100%. Yeah, you said it perfectly at the start of the round, but how Akron was really just going to have to play their angles right because of how tight the map was, and you hit the nail right on the head yet again, and it's very, very looking in Akron's favor for the second round. Obviously, they're up 2 at the half. SAU, they're going to have to pull out those big plays with that clutch factor we've talked about, and it's really just going to come down to the ones. Cypher obviously was not fragging the best of this game. Obviously, everyone's going to have their hot games, but we're really gonna have to see that X factor from Doobie, from Fun Momo King, and we'll see how it plays out. But it's leaning towards Akron right now.
Yeah, it is really looking towards Akron at the moment. But it does look like we're almost getting the lobby ready, so we are gonna be going right back into the action, folks. We're not done yet. We still got a little bit more to push, or a lot more to push, if ASAU can pull this off. The inconsistency kind of showed in that first half. Now that they are attacking, we get to see what they can pull off that is unique. But I'm going to be honest, I really can't think of something that I haven't seen in Clubhouse. I mean, yeah, Pro League always finds a way to put something absolutely ridiculous that no one in a million years would normally think about, but that's Pro League. We're down here, right? Down at the ground level. So, I have to ask you, Meef, do you think there's anything that SAU could do to really throw off Akron in a way that would create an opening to secure round wins? Because I'm going to be honest, I genuinely can't think of one.
So, one thing that I have been noticing, SAU, almost every single round, one of them has been getting picked off right away, either on that Mira or just somewhere around the map, where I feel like if you just play back a little bit more. Obviously, we saw Brap getting caught out in the open on the very early start of that round. Yeah, I feel like just playing tighter, playing slower, it's really gonna benefit SAU in the long run, especially being down 2 runs. They're gonna have to play their picks. They're gonna have to just play slowly and really just look out for every little angle that Akron's going to be challenging.
All right, and with that, we go into this next round. I really am so curious just what SAO will pull off, because the thing that I'm the most wondering about is how their cash take will go, because I do think this will tell a lot of what their concerns are. Because if they absolutely get blown out in cash, then we know that the inconsistencies are really kind of hampering their attacking capabilities. But if they go for something completely unexpected that I can't predict, then that tells that they're still trying to innovate, try to shake things up, especially if they can hold. Then that means they got a solid chance to push this forward too. But if they play this traditional and it doesn't really pan out, then it probably might be a decider. They really do basically just have to pull something completely new and actually sink it.
Yeah, obviously you're switching sides here, so the strategies are going to switch up. But as long as Akron is going to stay with like the fundamentals that they've been running, they're going to look really good on this defensive side. As you have Doobie here playing Blackbeard, maybe going to try and do kind of what Akron was doing with this Blackbeard and just really disrupting up close, disrupting their flow of the game. And it looks like Arv has already spotted that Blackbeard shield, so maybe they can get an early jump on this. But SAU, they're really going to try to hit this site hard. Looks like a hard breach coming through, and they're going to really try and get into the site quick, get this bomb down. With over a minute left to play, they can really take something here.
Oh, yeah. Akron has played really passively here thus far. They backed up really deep. And now it's all come down to sight. They've got construction. They have everything. But you don't really see anyone holding balcony too much so far. You do have blah blah, but it's more of like a passive hold than like actively covering those positions. So Akron does have some fluidity in maneuvering this situation. But regardless, this really does push how consistent SAU is, because they're not really doing anything too novel or unique. Nitro goes out, doesn't do any damage, so they're still solid in position. But I have to wonder how this plays out, because so far we haven't seen a major push until now. Blah blah catching Warrior, that's going to be one. Now they have an opening as the positions are displaced. With 18 seconds on the clock, they're going to have to push it fast, but Void's going to shut that down. Taking one, it's going to be trades back to back as they fight for blood over by Bedroom. Arv rotating, ready to try to stop this further push. You've got Blackbeard at the front, 2 and sweet. Cypher to finish the job, and that gives SAU their first win. They do hold together and take space. Akron backing up too far, and it costs them the round. You got to fight for it just a little bit more.
And that's exactly what I was talking about with kind of just the slow playing of this map. How SAU, they just came, they just wanted to slam this site, and they pushed Akron really far back into their zone, just right into the bomb room, and it gave them really no room to work with. So Akron is maybe gonna have to switch up defensive strategies a little bit when it comes down to this late round situation here.
Now we're gonna see SAU attack basement. This is where even the best of teams will more often than not fold. But I think even when Akron plays passively here, for the most part, they will be at the advantage, because you typically will get sites set up as an attacker very quickly. But it's here, Akron is going to be more forgiven for playing passively like they did on Bar and Gym. The matter there that needs to be addressed is, what will SAU do to break the mold? That is what has to be answered. Because if they can get into, say, Moto or Deep Tunnel or even Arsenal, the script flips immediately, intensely. And I don't know if Akron will be able to pivot off of that. Though, they do still have a lot of room for retaliation. You're talking 3 Nitro cells that can hit SAU like a truck if they get too comfortable on their vertical, which they do plan on fully capitalizing. Keep in mind, they've got Ash and Ram. That's a lot of utility above that will allow them to really open the floor.
Absolutely. You see, just a full arsenal of explosives. You got the 3 nitros. You got 4 impact grenades that can really change the game here. And Blabla's gonna take a little bit of pre-fires at those steps, but they're gonna try and take control of every single entry point to this basement that they can before they decide to make their full entrance. And they're gonna blow that hatch open, throw some fire down. really trying to see every single angle they possibly can there. Obviously going to blow more holes in the floor here, really trying to just clear out every little thing that they can. Blah, blah, but just meticulously clearing all those floorboards just to make sure he can see everything that he can.
Indeed. And so everything's looking calm and quiet as we were kind of expecting and talking about, but I like this walk up from SAU, just so slowly creeping up towards that Malusi. Still hasn't given it off. Finally does trip it. They know there's one deep in blue, but I think the advantage is playing that passively. Oh my gosh, the Nitro right on the Blackbeard, the knockback, and Tango will be able to take one, but you have one ready at the whip onto blue. That's Blah Blah taking Tango down, and they've got pressure on the church. They've got the presence in Moto. This is the momentum shift that SAU needs in order to disrupt basement. Takes one. That's Fun Momo King. That's going to be Crimson's down. And the Candellers are going out. But there's a pushback. Warrior taking one. The problem for SAU. And it's going to put it to a 2v3. Brapton pushing it too deep. Gets eliminated by Blue. That's Warrior taking and saving this round for a double kill. 30 seconds on the clock. They know the last one is by Moto. And they are digging their heels deeper into cutting Cypher off here. And with those Kiba barriers, another one possibly coming in soon. It's going to be a tough call in order to get past this. Nitro goes out, but that's going to be on the wrong side. Completely back exposed to blue, but it doesn't matter. Void wins that fight in church. And that is going to allow for Akron to sustain their lead.
Yeah, I really did like the strategy from SAU there, just kind of playing up, just really creep in there slowly. But unfortunately, Doobie's gonna get get caught lacking there with that Nitro, and eventually start the downfall for SAU in the round there, because they just kind of got methodically picked off one by one, very slowly there, without Akron giving up any real ground to sight.
So I'm curious, Meef, what do you think here? Do you suspect that there could be a possibility for a big turnaround for SAU to really pick up some rounds here? Because so far we're looking at just they've picked up one round, they've lost the other. Do we think SAU can sustain a streak such that they can come back and maybe even bring this to overtime? Or are we thinking the inconsistency is going to creep up and going to shut them out? Akron only has 2 more rounds that they need to win, so the margin of error is getting slimmer and slimmer.
100%, and we can see that those inconsistencies right there. That Azami wall kind of broke in top garage, so we can see those inconsistencies for Akron. But if they can capitalize on the mistakes of SAU, Akron's mistakes really don't even need to be addressed to really give them the round. If SAU just keeps making those mistakes, and it's looking like it's going to be a really big entrance here for SAU. Everyone kind of stacking up that garage door.
Oh yeah, it looks like they're going to try to go for a forced walk up, but just one small problem. You've got 2 on the balcony, and it looks like you've also got Arv below towards lobby. That's a lot of eyes on this position.
Oh my goodness.
What? What kind of shot was that?
Wow.
Just gets a shot through the smoke straight onto Blah Blah. Headshot 2. Cheeky much? Yeah, I would say so. Man, that's gotta suck. And that's your star player in making this happen. Brapton does take 1, but Cypher shortly after goes down. Fun Momo King taking a significant amount of damage, down to half HP. Arv getting caught down to 1 HP. Does manage to walk away though at 1:35. That forced walk up has completely failed. However, what is important to note, however, is you still have Monty, who's been able to secure on the balcony, and now you have Crimson's, who's under a lot of pressure right now. The flash going down too, pretty much completely stuck here between a literal rock, Monty, and a hard place, a gun. So it's going to be tough, but if Wamai can break the mold, get rid of Monty, that's a big buffer that will allow Akron to secure the round, and they do get it off. This is big. Now, Doobie gonna be desperate, along with Bradpin, to try to establish this balcony control, but Crimson at full HP has no incentive to take any unnecessary fights, but does so anyway, taking a lot of damage. Ooh, a little bit of friendly fire there, I
little bit of TK there.
But it put down to a 2v4, 43 seconds, they do advance up on the balcony, but you got a lot of eyes who can aid in this fight, but despite that, Crimson exposes 1-for-1, the trades come out, Brapton with a double kill, and that is going to make this a more doable advance. But the fact remains that Brapton's the last one, still facing a funnel. No flashes remaining, does still have a drone if she so seeks to find more intel on where these players are. But with 15 seconds on the clock, that option's becoming decreasingly viable. One below, that means there's only one on site. This is an opportunity to pressure to get onto site. Bradford's going to take that opportunity. 5 seconds on the clock. Tries to force the plant anyway around the corner. Time running low, and there it is. Naturally, Tango makes the call, gets the swing, and that is another round secured, putting Akron at match point. Yeah, this is looking kind of desperate for SAU. We kind of talked about that inconsistency, and it looks like it is bearing fruit there. I do like how they tried to shake things up with that force plant, but there was just too many markers there. Especially that smoke on the door. That was kind of the glaring sign that something was up. Atypical?
Yeah, that
absolutely. Effective? Not really.
Yeah, even though it wasn't the greatest smoke, obviously getting that ridiculous smoke kill on Blah Blah through there, just kind of some random pre-fires that ended up hitting, even with that Azami wall right on it. Really impressive shot there.
Yeah, I mean, very clear and clean shot. I mean, criminal shot. I'm gonna be 100% honest.
Very,
but
yeah.
But I mean, it's not entirely unexpected. I mean, you have a smoke on the door. Like, that's already weird. You're hearing a lot of movement and activity around that door. Also weird. What can you reasonably expect? There's a glass. And where is glass going to peek from? From the left side, or from the right side of the garage door peeking left. And that's exactly where Warrior nailed the shot. I mean, it's really just a perfect pre-fire shot. I mean, it's still kind of, you know, and I hate to say this for a lack of a better metaphor, throwing crap at a wall to see what sticks, in the sense that you're not gonna expect that to work consistently, right? It's more like if you know, you call the timing right, you do get it, right? Apologies for my crassness, but I mean, it did hit, and that really was a big disruptor for SAU. Now we see this is the last chance to try to keep this ball rolling.
Yeah, so we're seeing a big roof presence here, and maybe SAU really just trying something new here, because obviously they haven't had a big roof presence in this attack portion at all. So it looks like they're just really trying to get something going with this being match point. You know, they gotta at least get around, put up a fight, get some picks. Bomb sites now located there, and they're really just gonna try and play this pick by pick. Blah Blah is gonna try and take out that castle, and yeah, really just kind of playing slow, seeing anything. Warrior is gonna get kind of shredded here. This could be the big pick that can blow things open here for SAU. And Brapton again, huge, getting 2 kills, knocking down Warrior and eliminating Tango. This could be a big round. Another one, Brapton, 3K. Incredible shots there, all coming from that hatch. And SAU is going to look like they got things under control here. Warrior is going to get res though.
This is a very unexpected aggression coming in from SAU, and to be able to take picks like that is so big. Here's the problem now. We're looking at a minute remaining. Blah Blah just went down. It's now a 4v3. This is within reach. One Nitro still available. That's going to be from Void. If they get reckless, this could get bad. 1-for-1, 2v3, and you see the walk into construction. Arv looking to get one. It does succeed in taking one, but it's going to be a trade out, resulting in a 1v1. This is the last opportunity for SAU to continue this forward. Has to get this clear. The ping is down. She knows exactly where Void is. Has that perfect information, but the problem is Void is protecting Diffuser. This is a very tense situation, and it all comes down to properly coordinating and playing the psychological game. Because if Fun Momo King goes gun for gun, this could go badly. Goes for it anyway. There's the pre-fire, and Fun Momo King keeps it alive! SAU still swinging a successful clear on the corner of top main.
That is exactly what SAU needed to just get back on their feet. Really just getting away from that match point. Obviously still down 2 rounds, but you've seen it last game. They came back from this 2-round deficit, and they obviously not taking the round, but they really put up a good fight against Akron, and that's exactly what we're seeing here yet again. Really well played from Brapton, getting that 3K, and really setting his team up for a really, really good play.
Yeah, I mean, great setup. I mean, that's the power of proper dronage, folks. Having information like that literally set SAU up for success, because I could not imagine how much more difficult that would have been without that drone. I mean, that would have been really dangerous territory. But I mean, thanks to some due diligence and that correct intel, there was an opportunity to play slow instead of getting rushed and desperate, which could have ended in an overall defeat. So SAU's still in it, but we can't deny the fact of the matter that this was still really close, and Akron was able to get a lot of picks. Like, for example, that mirror wall situation was a bit mishandled from SAU. That's something you want to get cleared out immediately, especially when you have intel that someone's holding that. You don't want to just be kind of pushing, funneled, and sitting out like that. That can get really bad, and we do see some spawn peak damage coming out onto Fun Momo King, going down to half, and Doobie down to about 75% health. Either way, the point kind of being what I was saying before, there's still those gaps that they're getting hit with a bit too hard. That's kind of that inconsistency. Almost brought them down under, still kicking, but it's going to be challenging in order to get a 2-round streak. I don't think this is going to just be a perfect clean sweep.
Yeah, I don't think so either. SAU obviously does not want to go down without a fight here, and they're going to show it. Obviously, taking a little bit of very early round damage. They're really trying to find that opening pick that can really just set them apart and set up a really good push here.
Minute and 40 seconds. It's still looking ever so slow. After that initial gunfighting, it's been quiet. But now SAU's making the same mistake that Akron did, failing to clear above. And now the punishment. 1 and 2. Big damage from Warrior. You got to account for Logi, but it's too late. Crimson takes another, and it's looking all but over. But you know what they say, folks. It ain't over until it's Jover. And right now, it's not looking too hot for SAU. That was a masterclass in why you don't neglect Logi, still causing trouble, putting the pressure on. Warriors out for blood. Not done yet. Wants to get some extra licks in before this ends. Assuming that Akron doesn't get sloppy, but they're pretty good about preventing that. And so Warriors out for more blood. She's not done by a long shot. And can you blame her? You're about to win. 38 seconds on the clock. We're talking no president basement, and you still have someone who's looking around above. Warrior completely unaccounted for, uncontested. Anything Brapton or Fun Momo King do, Warrior will be ready for it. They do have the ping onto main with such little time. Oh, the pistol whip. Gross. Wow. Great shot. Looking for another with 15 seconds remaining. This is just ego. This has gotta hurt if you're SAU. Brapton down to low HP. Does the tap come? Oh my gosh, it does!
My goodness.
Warrior just slamming him out. Watch for Laji,
Wow.
folks. That's UA
Warrior.
Gold taking it home.
And it's looking like those predictions were spot on from the beginning. What a game here from Akron, really just solidifying their ground, claiming their territory, and really just showing out on that second map.
Yeah, it's so dangerous how Warrior's been. I mean, we knew Warrior was going to be kind of a masterclass going into this after we saw the first half. But I don't think anyone could have expected the magnitude to which he really showed up there. I mean, big Fire 4 effect.
Yeah, Chalet was definitely kind of just like it was just first game jitters. I give a lot of props for Doobie for keeping us on our toes though, but at the end it was a lot of just like we played together, kind of just like yeah, like the entire game was kind of just figuring out okay, we just need to talk, need the drone, it's all the basics, but once we had that together, it kind of we got it down.
Gotcha. So I'll start with this question because this was something that was kind of burning my head. One thing that I noticed that was really unique. Typically, when we go into Chalet on defense, you see a first floor, second floor, basement rotation. You guys kind of went the exact opposite direction. You went basement, second floor, first floor. Mind giving us a little bit of insight on why you went that direction of rotations? I'm genuinely curious what the decision was there.
Just confidence. I mean, now granted, did we win sometimes, but a lot of it was just like, you know what, we think we're better. Screw these guys, we're gonna win this.
Wow. That's a lot of confidence for how close that got. I mean, you did pull through, especially on Clubhouse. I will give you that, but man, I'm gonna be honest. That rotation, at times, it was not looking like it was paying off. That had me kind of worried there. Me?
Yeah, just kind of a question. You guys, obviously, the second half of that last game, you guys showed a lot of confidence. How are you guys going to use that confidence just throughout your season in going about this?
Can you repeat that? Sorry, the Discord was going over.
Oh, gotcha. You guys obviously gained a lot more confidence in the second half of that second map. Just how are you guys going to use that confidence? And obviously, this is the first game of the season, but how are you guys going to use that confidence?
This man is also confident as well. I don't know if you can see him, but a lot of it was like that first map is like, look, welcome back to competition. This is our first game in Midwest. We didn't really know how it was gonna go, but after that second map, we were just like, okay, we basically just took their map pick. We're gonna run them on our map pick. A lot of it is like just we don't care how they're gonna play. We're gonna play our game, and the second map showed that.
100%, totally fair. So, the other thing that I kind of was wondering is after how terrifyingly close it got in map 1, what was kind of the mentality going into map 2? Because one of the things that we identified was this kind of issue where you guys are very regimented, right? Kind of very structured. You know exactly what you want to do. You have your plan fully laid out. This is exactly what we would expect from any team from Akron. But we did notice there was kind of a faltering adaptability at times. Like if you, for example, when Blackbeard got banned, or let's say like a push went wrong or something, it almost seems like when one step in the process falls apart, everything kind of collapses. So I do kind of wonder what if you guys saw that too, and what was the steps to kind of correct that, or what your thoughts are on that observation.
Usually when those shields get banned, we're kind of just telling Tango, who's usually our shield player, just, you know what, get on a gun. Like, at this point, it's enough playing, like, the slow, kind of just, like, try to push them back. It's like, okay, it's time to just run them down. Now, obviously on Chalet, it was kind of 50-50 on if we actually did run them down, but at the end of the day, we won that map. And then we basically just applied that same philosophy to Club, and then like, after the attack round was cake.
Yeah, you guys are definitely doing a lot better running your guns down once you started kind of getting more adjusted to living without that Blackbeard. That's totally a fair assessment. But Leaf, what you got?
Yeah, so I was kind of noticing, Crims, on how well you guys played that second game. But what were you guys thinking? Say tied 7-7 that first map. How did you guys really bring yourself to gain all of that confidence back in that second map?
Yeah, a lot of it is kind of just like the blind faith. Like, I'm pretty sure me and I think Tango, or no, it was actually Boyd, who's right next to me, said guess what? We just won the map. We don't care how these guys are gonna kill us. We're gonna win that map, and it doesn't matter what they're gonna do to us. We're like, again, it is really just that blind faith. Like maybe we don't know how we're gonna be doing it at the start of the round, but all right, that is literally just like we're gonna win. It doesn't matter what they're doing.
Okay.
Thank you,
All
man.
right. So, one small question, and then we'll kind of close this out. So, I was kind of making fun of this because I took Spanish in college and high school. I got to seal it by literacy. So, one of your teammates, Tango, is it a coincidence that their name is literally just "I have" in Spanish? Like, am I just seeing things, or is that intentional? What's up with the name there? I gotta know.
You know what? That is a mystery to man that I do not think will ever be uncovered. I
Oh,
don't know the purpose of his name, but hey, it's his name, and there are times if you ask him that question, I doubt he would give you an answer, but we love him.
well, you can at least let him know if he didn't know already that is an actual word in Spanish. So, flexing that Spanish knowledge, which won't do me any good here. But with that being said, before we close this out, you got any shout outs or final comments you'd like to say before we head on off?
Yep. So kind of shout out my teammates, Warrior, Arv. He also co-IGLs with me, so I'm really happy with him. He helps me out kind of when I'm
Wow.
faltering. Boyd, as well as everyone else. Also, some of the Akron Blue team guys, they're behind us, watching our games, helping us out sometimes, like in between maps, telling us what we're doing wrong, what we're doing right, and kind of just in general is for anyone who's playing us in Midwest. Doesn't matter what you're gonna do, we're gonna run you down.
That, that's a great mindset to have. And with that being said, thank you everyone for watching. And Crimsons, thank you for speaking with us for tonight. We appreciate the insights and we appreciate hearing your thoughts. And other than that, thank you to everyone for watching. Meef, thank you for joining me to commentate over this great matchup. Do you have any final comments yourself before we end it?
No, not really. Just GG's to both teams. You guys put on an absolute show.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And then, with that being said, we're going to be done. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Take it easy.
Thank you. God bless.